tryna get next to you, tryna get next to your body, oh yeah. Your love is too good for you, it's too good for you, oh yeah. I'm tryna get next to you, tryna get next to your body, oh yeah.
Real quick before this video starts, y'all make sure to join my Discord. We're gonna be doing game nights, all types of stuff. You get to see my thumbnails before I make the video. You get to see all my concepts. You get to debate other people, and we even have our own concepts channel for you guys to post your own concepts. And maybe one day, you know, the All-Star devs will be in here too. But that being said, if you go ahead and watch the video. Alright, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. So we're gonna get right into this. Y'all make sure to join my Discord, but that being said, we can get right into it. So Broly versus Escanor. As you can tell by the title, we're gonna be comparing those two. This is gonna be pretty in-depth, and I feel like we'll come to a decent conclusion here. Now obviously you can keep your opinion and I will keep mine, but if you guys do want to debate, we can always debate in my Discord. Now with that being said, we'll get right into it. So off rip, just base to base at level 80, Escanor is obviously better. He does 8,000 damage every 5 seconds. Broly does like 700 per 16 seconds. Now we can start with story mode. Who's better for story mode? I would say Escanor, but it depends on how good you are really placing your money gainers, because I don't want to call them money gainers, your farms for money, because here's the thing, right? The earlier you get Broly max, the better, because Broly only starts gaining damage when he's at max, which is a huge problem, especially in the most recent story modes, because they've gotten harder and harder, and it's harder to kind of like get your money right. You have to like be really, you know what I'm saying, like just be good at it. So right now it would be more convenient to bring what's it called, Escanor, despite him costing more, just because he's gonna start off better with only a 3 SPA, and his upgrades are much better, and he's already gaining damage, so when you do get a max, it won't be that hard. So I would say, and he's AoE off the bat, like you don't have to wait for the last upgrade to get him to AoE. So I would say, although Broly is cheaper, I would have to take Escanor, just because not only does he have a higher DPS, but he's more convenient for story mode. We can talk about PvP later, just because I can't really collect my thoughts on that right now. But for now, let's get in the main point, which is infinite mode. So I'm about to show you a graphic on the screen. We're gonna compare their damage, DPS, and range after 45 waves. Now the reason why I said I picked 45 waves is because I feel like it was a pretty good balance, just because you should be able to get 45 waves of them both at max, you know, just gaining damage. Now obviously the minute you place Escanor, he'll start gaining damage, so you could probably add like 36 times 3 to his, because he'll most likely have more damage if you just place them both and then you just start playing. But it won't take you long to get Broly max, especially in infinite mode. So with that being said, we can get right into it. So after 45 waves without an Irwin boost, Escanor does 12,327 damage every 5 seconds. So that gives him about a 2,465 DPS, and he has a 55 range, but it is cone, and the cone isn't that wide. It's comparable to what Sasuke was. Nah, probably a little bit less. Like a Stark, maybe. You could say a Stark. So Broly after 45 waves, he does 25,283 damage with a 1,580 DPS every 16 seconds, and he has a 52 range, but his is full AoE. So as you can see here, after 45 waves, Escanor still does more DPS as we expected, but his range isn't as high, or his range is actually higher, but he does a cone AoE, while Broly actually does a full AoE. Now for damage farm, obviously Broly with the more damage and the AoE is going to be better, just because he's going to hit more units. But if we're talking about just DPS wise, Escanor is obviously better here. Now when we get into the Irwin boosted stats, this is where, you know, they start to separate themselves a bit. So damage right here, Escanor, he does 36,981. His DPS is 7,396, and his range is 55, of course. And Broly does 75,000 damage with a 4,740 DPS and a 52 range. Now if we're talking about like the deep waves of infinite mode, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to say I'm taking, it's hard to say, but I think I'm gonna take Broly. Well, for damage task and stuff like that, I'm definitely taking Broly, just because he can hit so many units at once and he's gonna do 75,000 damage. So obviously he's going to be better for damage tasks, but for infinite in general, it is hard to say. It is hard to say, right? Because Broly, even though his DPS is 3,000 lower, he's going to be hitting a lot more units. But Escanor has a way higher DPS, a much lower SPA. So like I said, it's hard to say. Obviously, Escanor is like just base to base. Like you just look at them by themselves. Obviously, Escanor is better. But I feel like for the context of the late game of Infinite Mode, I think Broly might be better, depending on your placement now. It really does depend on your placement because, like I said, Escanor is going to start gaining the minute you place him. So you have to be really, really careful and really good about how you place your Broly. But with that being said, now we can talk about PvP. So the reason why I say Escanor is probably better for PvP is because one, he's easily a better starter. And two, DPS is a little more important in PvP. Now, Broly has the added benefit of he attacks air units too, but air units aren't your biggest problem in PvP. It's more or less the explosives and the cloners. Now, air units are obviously going to be a problem because, like I said, it's just infinite mode. But I don't know. It's like every time I see people use Broly, especially with how the map is, they usually don't win just because the air units are moving so much faster. Because there's more space to cover, so obviously they're going to move faster. So you place your Broly in the back, it's just weird because of his 16 SPA. There aren't a lot of good places to place him. So I would say that Escanor is a better unit for PvP, story mode. But in the context of the late game of Infinite Mode, I think I'll take Broly. But I might just take Escanor regardless just because of that DPS. Because that DPS is just insane. That's some insane DPS. And like I said, the minute you place him, he's gaining. But with that being said, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, comment. If you have debates, join my Discord. I have a hashtag debates and everything. And that being said, it's your boy Dyloh, and we out.
No more, he swallow with all of my kids in the tummy. Boy, they take off on the jet land in London. I cannot stop this money, keep on coming. Put the banana in my she a monkey. Drippin' since a young and never been by me. Spin it out cause niggas never had nothing. Like a wife, nigga sleep with that money. She my hoe, but I fuck on her buddy. Up an early nigga sippin' that